Okay, winter time at U of T. So this is a long time ago. This is 1975, 76, 35 years ago. God, it's a long time ago. Time's gone by that quickly. All right. So one of the things I used to do at U of T, besides hanging out with the profs, you know, with the chalk and the cigarettes and the stuff and the suits, people smoking in class and all that, was we'd go down to Chinatown from St. George and Harvard, walk all the way to Chinatown and eat there. Now, this is really cool. In those days, there were many graduate students from China, and they were my best friends. So they used to think of Chinatown, I was the only guy sometimes non-oriental. So they'd walk into this restaurant, we'd sit down and they'd order, right, in Chinese. And eventually I got good enough to actually order in Chinese, which really blew away the waiters, because they would talk to me in Chinese, and then my Chinese friends would tell me what they said, and I would, of course, answer in some form of Chinese, and they were all confused looking, you know, because it wasn't exactly right. But anyways, that was fun. So we'd pull all these stunts with these waiters, right? We'd plan it ahead of time, and then write down these characters in Chinese, all this stuff. So, in wintertime, we always did strange things, but the most memorable story is this one. One winter, we go down into Chinatown, and all these friends of mine, there's like 8 of us. We went to Chinatown, we eat. Now, when you ate beef with broccoli, let's say, at this restaurant called the Garden Valley Restaurant, I remember it's on Huron and Dundas. Was on Huron and Dundas, right? They would see us come in, and they knew we would order something like beef and broccoli, because we did, you know, rice and all that stuff. $1. $1. And a big heaping plate full of beef and broccoli, and we ate and we had fun and all this stuff. So this one night we come out, and it's cold outside. And there's snow everywhere, and there's ice. So I thought, oh God, we're so full, you know, because they used to feed us. So we're going to do some exercise before we get back to Sid Smith, which was the building. Sidney Smith is the building where the mathematics department was housed. Oh yeah, that reminds me of another story. You got a pen? Okay, that's another good story. You got a pen. Clockman. I got to remember that. This is really good too. That one right after this one. So we're in the Sid Smith, right? And as we're walking back, I think, this is always me thinking, right? You other guys think too, but the stories have to come from me. So I see this big piece of ice on, does anybody know this story from last term? Okay, good. Big piece of ice on the sidewalk. So I think to myself, ha, contest, right? What we have to do, so I create the regulations, everybody stops. I say, okay, this is what we're going to do now, because we have to do something different. We're going to kick this piece of ice all the way into our offices in Sid Smith. But the conditions are, we're not allowed to lift it, and it should not stop moving, ever. This is really crazy, right? I mean, how can you possibly do this? It's a piece of ice this big. So I said, I start, right? So I kick it. And this guy next to me runs, right? And he kicks it slightly, because of course you realize that you have to kick it not very far, because you have to catch up with it, so that it stops moving, it keeps moving. But then we get to the corner. It's getting dangerous to cross the street. So you have to stop the ice, right? So people are going tick-tock like this with their feet to prevent it from stopping, right? And then of course the light changes, and then a big kick right across the street, and everybody's looking, right? They're all looking at us like, these guys are nuts. Mathematicians from the team, you know, never know. So we kick this across the street, and of course we keep running across the street, and we keep kicking this ice. And we keep doing this, right? And of course, as you're doing this, yeah, it shrinks, right? Which makes sense, because you kick it, you know, so a little indentation, like a moon being caught by an asteroid, explodes, right? Some parts of it. So, okay, so the ice starts shrinking, and now we're thinking, you know, can I get this back to Sid Smith on time? It's not clear we're going to make it. Is there going to be any ice left, right? Well, okay, so we keep doing this, and the cell is the same story, you know. When you get to corners, you flap it back and forth between your feet, then you kick it right across the street. Hopefully it doesn't go under a car, right, because then the story ends, but it didn't end. It actually ended well. And we get in front of Sid Smith. Now, when we're in Sid Smith, there's 2 stairs. I mean, that time there were 2 sets of stairs. There's one set of stairs over here, Sid Smith is over here, right? And then it was like this. And the stairs were like this, and then you have this door over here, right? Now, these stairs were hollow. Big problem, right? We're seeing this as we're getting to the stairs, and we're thinking, oh no, the stairs are hollow. So the ice could fall back. Oh, so we're thinking, okay, what do we do now? So we're approaching the stairs and we're talking to each other as we're kicking this ice, right? And it's getting small, but the size of an orange now. And we're thinking, how do we get it up the stairs? So as we get to the front, what do you think we did? We put it between our legs and then we hopped onto the stair with the ice between our feet, right? And we kept hopping like this, and we went just up, right? Up and up and up, so as to avoid the ice from going back. Okay, now we're up over here, right? And somebody has to open the door while we're moving the ice back and forth between our feet, right? And then all of a sudden you're in the building, so now you're really worried because now it's hot. And the ice is going to melt faster, but you still got to get it to the 5th floor, somehow. Right? You got to get it to this 5th floor. It's the size of an orange. So we open the door, and at this point, I remember making this move. I kicked the ice as far as I could, and of course, almost a frictionless surface on the floor, I went right back. And we start screaming, because we're running after the ice, and everybody comes out of the offices. And they see us chasing what appears to be this piece of ice. And they say nothing. Because it's normal, right? This is the science building. This is normal. So we go back into their offices. Nothing happened. And now it's the size of a golf ball, all right? The size of a golf ball. So we get to the elevator. And we're waiting for the elevator. We move back and forth, and you can see this little trail of water, right, as it's melting more and more. And we go right up to the 5th floor. And we're thinking, oh, we're going to make it, we're going to make it. It stops on the 3rd floor. And my prof comes in, my PhD supervisor comes in, and I'm sweating, right? Because we're wondering, oh my God, what's going to happen? And there's 6 of us in the elevator, right? And we're moving back and forth with this ice, and he looks at us. And he looks at me, and he says, have you had a hard day, Angelo? And I said, what, am I having a hard day, sir? Yes, sir. He gets off to the 4th floor. And Sidla's sitting, and now the ice is about the size of marble, right? And we come out of the elevator, and we kick it right into my office. But it gets slammed into the door. We forgot to open the door, right? So it's not quite there. And as I get into the office, it just started melting away. We actually did it. Got this piece of ice all the way to my